Hello, thank you for joining my presentation where I did my surveys and my research study regarding personality assessments in the hiring process. After the last decade, or over the last decade, I should say, there have been some changes in the hiring process. I'd say prior to the last decade, personality assessments were a quote unquote thing, oftentimes when applying for a job or after an initial phone screen, the company would ask you to take a personality assessment. Then they went away for a while and now they're seeing a comeback due to things like technological advances with AI and a good focus, or I would say more of a focus on organizational culture and wanting to hire the right people into that culture. Personality assessments are paired oftentimes with AI for efficiency and fairness. However, there are questions that have arisen out of that of how effective are they? Is there bias and fairness? And, the use of them regarding the alignment with organizational values. So my research problem was, how do personality assessments and AI tools impact the hiring process? What role does organizational culture play in a candidate's perception? And the objectives were to look at experience of candidates with these tools and assessments, understand the alignment between the assessments, organizational culture, and leadership, and address any transparency concerns and integrity issues, bias and fairness as well. So I performed two surveys with open-ended questions regarding candidates' experiences with assessments. I asked, had they experienced this, what their thoughts were regarding taking an assessment. Did they think that they were used fairly? Was the organization transparent with them up front, and so on and so forth. So, I used manually coding and Atlas TI, and then, searched for codes that came forward were suitability for the role, the validity of the assessment, and the transparency and cultural fit. Throughout this, I did find that there was a lack of clarity around the assessment purpose in regards to transparency by the organization, which leads to mistrust. If they're not going to tell me they need me to take this, then can I trust this company? Candidates who aligned with organizational culture seem to have more of a positive experience. So if what I'm looking for and who I am as a person aligns with the culture of the organization, I didn't mind taking the assessment, essentially. Mixed reactions in AI. It might be efficient, but there's no human judgment. Much like applying for a job and having a resume bot or AI review your resume, it often misses things that a human eye could catch because you can't put all of that into AI. And then leadership perception. So the leadership style often impacts the candidate's perception of a cultural alignment. And so some implications to this, there's an importance of transparency. You have to ensure effective and ethical hiring practices. You have to ensure transparency. The candidates need to be told that this is part of the process. There needs to be cultural alignment. So the candidates' values need to align with the organization's values. And leadership alignment, that the styles are reflected in the hiring practices. I think that there needs to be more research done regarding the impact of these assessments and employee satisfaction. It was found, that this study, my apologies, did highlight, the need for transparency, fair, and cultural awareness, use of the personality assessments in the hiring. We need to know more on how AI would integrate this. There's an importance of aligning the candidate's values with the company's culture, for greater transparency. I think future research needs to be continued to explore how the factors impact employee engagement and organizational culture. And as I stated prior, how AI plays a role in this, and does it belong in this? Yes, it's efficient, but is it the right tool to use for this purpose? And then here are my references. So thank you for taking time to listen to my presentation.